Okay, so this is the first build update of Project SAi in a video just because I thought it would be easier. This is going to be a really messy, quick, super high level overview of sort of what I've done so far, and in the future, these videos will be better. So, what I started with was going into my ChatGPT team account, which you can't by default export your conversations when you have a ChatGPT team account. And so I actually found a resource on GitHub that adds an extension to be able to do that. And I exported every single conversation that I ever had with that ChatGPT account. I went through them and deleted probably 60% of them, like conversations. This is a real conversation where I asked ChatGPT how to microwave a potato without blowing it up. So I deleted those and kept the ones that I felt actually contained information, conversations that were valuable, like discussions with GPT about the observer versus the thinker, experimental media brand concepts that I have been plugging away on for a long time, developing a persona for stand-up comedy, certain stories, just things that helped ChatGPT or will help my new system understand who I am. So I loaded all of that into Claude, and then I started a conversation. You can see it's a pretty long conversation. Part of it was kind of technically figuring out how this system might work, but also me trying to make sense of how to give an LLM enough context about me to actually be a true replacement of my brain, if you will, a true extension of who I am. So again, a lot of this conversation was some technical stuff, but then I brought in prompts that I had created to figure out a questionnaire to essentially explain who I am. And that output was this artifact right here, which has 15 global sections, each of which has a number of sections in between, where it's asking me lots of questions about myself and my background. Now, it drew on the exports from my ChatGPT account to help me make sense of all of this and create a questionnaire that actually suits me. Yours would look different than this, but the general idea is I took all the context I could, loaded it into a Claude project, and then used that, went back and forth with Claude to create this master document that again has 15 main sections that go through things like my daily life and embodiment, teaching, wisdom, and transmission, creative mythology and world building, something I'm passionate about, relationships and community, including origin stuff like origin story and formative years and professional evolution timeline, just all the things that are me. And I am sure you're hearing babies screaming in the background. I have 5 children under 7 years old, and it's like a zoo in our house, so you'll just have to deal with that. And so I created this master document. Then I brought all of that into a Notion space and into a Notion doc where you can see I'm going one by one, turning these global sections into pages, and then inside those pages, turning each of these subsections into their own page. Orange is the one I'm working on next, red I haven't started, and then I've colored the ones green that I've already done, and I made a little template file here to list off questions, raw audio file, raw transcript. Super simple, straightforward. So if we drop into First Creative Sparks, these were the 5 questions that it asked me. This is an upload of the raw audio file itself that I recorded on my phone, which I then, because I use iCloud, it just synced over to the Mac version, and I just copied and pasted that over, and copied and pasted the transcript that it created. And then you can see I've done childhood environment as well as early entrepreneurial seeds. So the goal is to go through every single one of these subsections, then go back and do section 2, and then section 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So as you can tell, this is going to be a long process of digging into who I am and bringing that into Notion. Once I have all of this information organized in Notion, then I'll begin the process of distilling that, structuring it into actual training data, and then fine-tuning what I think will be Llama 4 Scout. I'll make some decisions as I get there. Maybe you guys can help me make that decision. But ultimately, this will then turn into the training data that will serve my custom LLM, so I can bring that with me and do whatever I want with it and build my own apps or plug it into N8N or make automations or just generally speaking do crazy weird shit with it. So that's the update so far. Hope this is helpful and interesting to you, and follow my X account, god damn it.